Hey, what's up, guys? I wanted to make this presentation for you. Ultimately, this is probably going to be on a webinar or something, but I wanted to get this as a private invitation out to a few small select guys that I believe is going to be at the core of the Champion Army coming up here for this year upcoming. And I wanted to really, I'm just going to be real with you, like really what this is I want guys to get a better understanding of where they are. If these are champion men, if these are male entrepreneurs, if these are men at the core, they're warriors deep down, and they find themselves confused and conflicted about where they are. I wanted to kind of share this information with them because I thought that it would add some clarity and it would kind of really share a little bit of my story and why I'm doing what I'm doing and invite you on board to be able to share this information with you. So one of the main things I wanted to do naturally, one, was to help you get a better understanding of yourself, because my goal is to help as many men as I can with this, because I had this challenge in my own life. Second is to bring you on board, is to have you join us at the Champion Training Camp, to join the Champion Army and this brotherhood of men. And to just be real about that is to just say, look, no one's coming to save you. The fight that you have to fight for your life and the things that you want in your life, no one is going to be able to do that work for you. But at the same effort in Champion, we are able to provide the tools, we are able to provide the accountability, we're able to provide the brotherhood that can guide you to where you want to go and hold you accountable in the places where you've now fallen and you aren't the champion that you once were, but you know that you're supposed to be. So I wanted to share this a little bit with you, a little backdrop on myself. A lot of you guys know my story, and some of you guys may not know from this perspective. And while this was going to be a training I was going to do on a webinar, I wanted to give it to you guys first. All right. I find that a lot of guys have fallen asleep to where they are. A lot of guys, and I like to call this the slow silencing of champion men out there in the world, in the marketplace. And unfortunately, it's a systemized process. It doesn't just happen overnight. This started years and years and years ago, but I want to say that it started internally. And I started to see this play out over years of training athletes, training special forces men, training other entrepreneurs, training multi-millionaire men, and helping them get themselves back on track after they found themselves not achieving at the level that they wanted, not winning in their life where they thought they were going to. And it's kind of started with my own life. And I want to kind of run this down to you, and I thought I'd write it down because people kind of understand stuff better when you write it down. I've spent 7 years of my life, or had the past 7 years of my life, frustrated, embarrassed, and alone. Unfortunately, when I was frustrated and I was doubting myself, it made me question everything about me, and it caused me to be in this constant state of confusion about who am I? Why am I in this place? Why are things not working out the way that I thought they were going to be? Why do I constantly go through the same shit over and over and over again in my marriage, in my business, in myself? Why am I constantly in conflict? And it brought me to this place of just being embarrassed. Like, I didn't want to show my face. I didn't want to be out there. I was ashamed of who I was. I was ashamed of who I wasn't. I thought I was going to be further along in my life. As a kid, I wanted to do this, or I always went against the grain. I wanted to be this rich, successful person because I was always taught that I couldn't be. And I wasn't the greatest athlete. I wasn't the greatest soldier. I wasn't even the greatest businessman, but I really fucking worked hard at it. I really wanted to win, all right? And when I wasn't at the places where I thought I was, it frustrated me. It made me doubt myself. It made me question all the things that I believed about myself, aside from what I'd been told by other people. And then it embarrassed me. It made me not even want to show my face. And I find a lot of men are out there questioning themselves, doubting themselves, frustrated, angry, feeling alone, embarrassed about who they are, what's going on in their life, whether it's their marriage, whether it's their business, whether it's failures that they've had. And they move to this place, like I said, of being alone, of isolating themselves, feeling like there's nowhere for them to be. And within that isolation, they run. They become reactive to everything because, let's face it, if you're a champion, to us, in the definition of a champion, to us, we're conquerors. Period. The definition of a champion to us is men who conquer, men who go out there and do stuff. But if you're living confused, about where you are, then that means you're not creating anything. You're confused about this, you're frustrated, you're embarrassed about where you are, and you're isolated yourself, and you feel alone, you feel like nobody understands. So now you're living in this constant state of confusion about life and about your outcomes and about your marriage and about your business and why you aren't succeeding. So you can't be conquering. And when I was in that space where I was just confused, I spent all of my time reacting and seeking and searching information and trying to find an answer to the things that I couldn't find in myself anymore. I spent so much time doubting and wondering that I just became overwhelmed with all the shit going on. And I can promise you, most champion men out there spend the majority, 90% of their time being overwhelmed and reacting to everything that's going on in their life. Wondering why isn't their marriage working, reacting to all the circumstances, wondering why isn't their business working, why the circumstances in their business continue to pop up, why they're continuing to doubt themselves, is because they're running around confused about who they are as men. So now they're not creating anything, so therefore they can't conquer nothing. And that shitty ass place causes them to silence that voice that would have told them to go and do more stuff, and they bury it deep. And they begin to isolate themselves to feel alone, and I did that too. For majority of my life, man, I spent frustrated and doubting and wondering and questioning myself and confused and overwhelmed and just seeking other men like me, and there was no place for me to go when all I really wanted was the truth. Why was I going through this? And no one can answer that question. I went to personal development seminars, I went to church, I went to other business seminars, and I wanted to sit down and talk to other men who were more like me, this more warrior mindset, this more champion mindset person who felt that I was created to achieve something great in the world, and the other people didn't want that. They were afraid to have those conversations. Nobody wanted to talk about their marriage. Nobody wanted to talk about their life. And when I found that they did talk about their life and where they were, it was more lies. It was more trying to justify. It was more trying to look good and look good in front of other people. Man, I didn't want that shit. I actually wanted the truth, and I wanted to be in a place where I could tell the truth about where I was, so I could finally start making some sense from the confused state that I operated in, and all of a sudden living in this overwhelm of not knowing. I was so tired of that. And I find a lot of times when champion men are living in this state of reacting to every circumstance that comes into their space, they're not creating anymore, they're living from overwhelm, they're isolated, they feel alone, they're not sure who they are anymore because they're frustrated, they're embarrassed about the places where they are, they begin to decompose and deconstruct, and they start to wonder and question, and they start to destroy everything around them. They start to live in this place that I like to call silencing. They start to quiet the noise by doing something else, and they become destructive. For me, I started working out, and I'll just tell you where I came from. I was constantly working out. I was training all the time. I was constantly trying to figure out how to make more money, trying to satisfy the urge. Like, how can I create something? How can I do something to just keep my mind busy, to silence the voices in my head that was telling me, like, Victor, something's wrong. What is it that you need to be doing? I don't drink, but I definitely went to porn and sex. I wanted attention so bad. I just wanted anything to make me feel more like a man, because the things that used to make me feel like a man, I was frustrated about it. I thought I was supposed to be better. Thought I was supposed to be this winner. I was embarrassed about where my life was, where my marriage was, where my businesses were. And I didn't even want to show my face anymore. So I isolated myself, and I made myself feel alone because I was so ashamed. And then I started looking for other people, and I realized, like, damn, like, there's nobody else out there going through what I went through. At least nobody wanted to share it. Nobody wanted to tell the truth. So I lie, I hid, I silence, and I try to numb out my own pain by doing all these things. And other men out there that I find that do this stuff, sometimes they move into drinking, drugs, whatever it is that they do to silence the voice in their head saying, hey dude, there's something wrong and you really need to fix this. What are you going to do about it? Most champion men out there destroy their whole families, their empires, their businesses, all the money that they've ever made for that one circumstance and situation, because ultimately, just like myself, I forgot who I was. And then I spent 7 years, 90% of the reason why I was in the place where I was is because I forgot who I was, because I was spiraling in around these places. And I find most men out there have already silenced themselves. They've stopped being powerful. They've forgotten who they were. So rather than deal with the truth of who they are and who they're being and who they're not being in the circumstances going on in their life, they run, they hide, they numb out, and they do the things that, like I said, I personally did. I'm not fucking making this up. I did this. I cheated. I went to porn. I trained all the time. I worked out all the time. I fought. I did the MMA stuff. I went to go work out all the time. And because I don't drink, I didn't have that experience. But I used to drink. And when I used to drink, it was for the same reason. To get the voices to just quiet for a little bit of peace that I can have towards I can at least go to sleep at night. You see, unlike most guys, I share my truth with people. I know what it feels like as a man to stand in the shower and cry and ask God, what is it that you want from me? Because I thought I was doing everything right. I know what it feels like to sit down in peace and silence and have the voice be so loud in my head telling me, like, dude, you're fucking up. What am I going to do? Feeling like such a failure, have nowhere to turn and no other men out there to connect with, to bond with, to be able to share that truth with them, that I wouldn't feel like they're judging me or me have to judge them because they weren't cut of the same caliber as me, because they didn't want what I wanted in life. You see, again, I didn't start off like other people. I wasn't some college grad. I was a soldier. I was an athlete. I was an entrepreneur. I built myself up, so I had to believe beyond what other people were teaching me out in the world, because the dogma in the world said that I was going to fail. There's a lot of men out there. There are a lot of champion-minded men that are believing that they are created to be winners in this world, that are failing and struggling out there because they feel alone and they're fighting that fight by themselves. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. No one's going to save you. No one can save you. You have to fight this fight yourself. But if you're doing everything in your power to silence the voice in your head that says something's wrong and it's time for you to fucking make a change, and you're just numbing everything out, well, this is your wake-up call, brother. If you try to fight this fight by yourself by starting to numb out the voice that's calling you to do something, you will fail over and over again. And you will stay in a constant state of being confused, frustrated, embarrassed, and being alone. And you'll die there. Because I can tell you, working out all the time, training, trying to make more money, porn, sex, drinking, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, like I like to call it, is just destructive. And there's so many champion men out there that's lost their total empire, lost their families, picking their kids up from the store, child support, alimony checks, all these other things, because they destroyed everything in their life because they didn't finally make the decision once and for all to fight for the things that they want to, because they forgot who they were. My life, I want to dedicate that into helping men understand where they are, helping them see that they are champions, that they can win it all in their lives and fight for what they want again, because I needed it. There was no place for me to go. So I created that. And when I want to offer an opportunity for you to take a look at your life and to be honest about where you are and tell yourself the truth, because nothing happens until you start taking the truth. And once you find out that maybe taking a look at your life, you're not where you want it to be, there's some things that you can do about that, is making a conscious decision to choose to be who you're going to be and get around other men who are going to hold you accountable as well as hold themselves accountable, to take themselves and their life and start fighting for what they want and to go to that level. Without that, man, you lose it all rather than winning it all in your life, which is what I wanted to do, and create an environment to be able to support other champion men like myself and like you to be able to have that. Simply put, man, I believe it is my mission, my purpose in the universe, to be able to help other men like me to be able to come away from feeling frustrated, feeling embarrassed and alone, so they can actually start remembering who they are, and I can share with them the tools and the strategies and the systems that I used to rebuild myself and start living and winning in my life again when I was at my worst. There was nothing for us like that out there. Again, simply put, I know what it feels like to question myself and to feel alone and isolated and that nobody understands me, and there's no place for me to tell the truth, and there's no place for someone to tell me the truth about who I am and where I am and what I'm being, so I can finally get back on the right path and then guide me to that path along with other people who give a shit about me and my family, so I can make sure that I fucking get the results that I know that are afforded to me as a man. And if that's something that joining this brotherhood and really just having you come on board to champion and going through the training that I know that worked for me, so I can share it with you, share it with you as well as the other men that are coming on board. I would love to have you a part of our core group of champions that I want to help start to win it all in your lives again. Only if you're willing to tell the truth. Only if you're willing to fucking be honest. And once again, mainly, only if you're willing to make a choice and start fighting for the things that you want, rather than silencing the voice in your mind by lying to yourself and hiding and doing these other things to just take the pain away, but just really just destroy your life on the backdrop. So, sharing that with you, knowing that I believe that is my true purpose and why I want to offer that to you. I want to afford you and I the opportunity to have this phone call to see if this is going to be a fit for you. So you can apply to join Champion. I can find out what's going on, why this is so important to you, and what is it that you want to work on that you believe ultimately that you are supposed to be further, you're supposed to be fucking better, and you aren't there yet. And you're finally making the choice to start doing that fight and walking with other brothers who want to walk that walk and make that fight with you. All right? That's why I'm doing it. I really, really believe it is my purpose, is my mission in the universe to be able to help other people get through what I went through, because I did. If I can help you not go through that pain, understand yourself better, and start being who you have to be so you can fucking get it and win it all in your life, we can both get there. We can change the world if we do that. All right? And that's what Champion was created for, and I want to have you in here, and I want to have you on board. All right? The way to go about doing that is filling out that application and or hitting the button there and reaching back out to me and really being honest about where you are and being open to be able to tell the truth and really just come to a decision about making a choice whether you're going to fucking return to the life that you know is not serving you anymore, or you're going to fight for the life that you really want, wage war, and win it all. And if that's where you want to go, I want to have you on board, brother. I do. Because like I said, there was no place for us. There was no place for me. And if you feel like that too, if you're tired of being alone, you're tired of isolating yourself, being frustrated and not being who you believe that you were created to be, let's do that. Don't try to drown out the voice anymore. Let's start using it to start getting to where we want to go and make better decisions.